Hey everybody, it's Jim Priest with the Friday encouragement video. And I'm getting this out a little bit later today because I had a very busy day doing a lot of different things, including seeing my grandson in a play. One of the great things about being retired is I get the chance to do things like that. I'm speaking next week to a group of leaders about workplace culture and about values and the importance of values. And I wanted to share with you just a little bit about my values and to encourage you to think about what are your fundamental values? What are your value compass that helps give you direction and explains why you do things? So when I went to work for a nonprofit some years ago, I made some decisions early on that I think were kind of confusing to some of the employees. I had somebody from our human resource department approach me, and they were talking about the need to have this rule in place that really penalized everybody. And I asked them, well, why do we have this rule? And they said, well, there were a few people that were doing this wrong thing, and so we just made it a rule for everybody. And I said, well, let's try something different. Let's assume that people are going to act like adults. And then when they don't, let's deal with that rather than punishing the whole group. So we changed that rule. And I got to thinking, maybe I need to explain why I do the things I do. And that's one of my fundamental principles as a leader is treat people like adults until they prove you wrong. So I wrote a statement of values that I circulated to my employees, and I put out a memo that said, sometimes I may make decisions that make you scratch your head and say, why did he do that? And my hope is that by reading these principles, all of my employees will grasp the framework of my decision making and my leadership style and better understand my decisions. So a long time ago, I was challenged to do what I'm challenging you today. Somebody asked me, well, what are your core values? And I was like, well, I believe in God. Beyond that, I really didn't know. I couldn't articulate it. So I sat down and I started going through a list of potential values, what things were important to me. Now, there's a lot of things, a lot of values that are really important, and honesty would be right at the top of the list. That's not one of my core values, although I think it's wrapped into one of my core values. So I have 3 core values. I kind of hope maybe they'll be etched on my tombstone someday. The first one is integrity. I want to live my life the same way whether somebody's watching or not. And back in middle school, I remember in math class, we learned about integers, which are whole numbers. And that's what it means to be a person of integrity. To be a whole person, you're the same all the time. My second core value is enthusiasm. And that comes from the Greek word entheos, which means God in us. And so I want to live my life that reflects the way God's nature is. And then you won't be surprised to learn my third core value is encouragement. And not just rah-rah, let's win one for the Gipper kind of encouragement, but to put courage back into the hearts of people who may be feeling low or despairing or need hope. So that's my challenge to you this week. And if you, once you get those 3 core values, here's another assignment to think about. Why don't you write your own obituary? And write it in a way that you want to be remembered. So that's this week of encouragement. I think you would do well to take some time this week, think about your core values. What do you want to be remembered for? And write it down. Thanks. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week.